Storms we're building, just like rain. Revenge runs deep, like a river through my veins. You can hide in the dark, but you can't get away because revenge runs deep. Oh yeah, revenge runs deep. Revenge runs deep, like a river through my veins. You can hide in the dark, but you can't get away because revenge runs deep. Oh yeah, revenge runs deep.
We walk the line where gangsters play in a world where truth can slip away. One lane by day, another by night. Two lives alive under the neon lights. In the night we become what we fight. Caught in a world where wrong feels right. Undercover games in a dangerous game. Living on the edge, but who's to blame? You can find us where the dark begins. Yeah, we're undercover kings. Our suits covered, the badge wear. 'Cause in the street they don't play fair. Every night we sell a lie. How far can we go before we die? In the night we become what we fight. Caught in a world where wrong feels right. Undercover kings in a dangerous game. Living on the edge, but who's to blame? You can find us where the dark begins.
constellations in the dark. You spin me around like a cosmic dance, lost in the gravity of your glance. I never knew love could feel so bright till you turned my shadows into light. 'Cause you're my star in the sky, shining way up high. Every step you take makes the darkness fly. Yeah, you're my star
in my ride, nothing in my rear view. The city got a vibe that's pulling me through. In the heart of Miami, where the stakes are high, we're living on the edge, reaching for the sky. In a world so wide. beside my bed. Every word you never said. I try to sleep, but I can't slow down. Every thought keeps coming around. I know the morning's coming soon. I don't wanna think about the truth. Just one night, let me feel you near. Just one moment, like you're still here. I don't need forever tonight. Just one night in your light. Just one night before we change, before the memories rearrange. I don't need the world, just you. Just one night will do. The radio plays something slow. Every song you used to know. The city hums outside my door, but I only want one thing more. I know the morning's coming soon, but I don't wanna think about the truth. Just one night, let me feel you near. Just one moment, like you're still here. I don't need forever tonight. Just one night in your life. Just one night before we change, before the memories rearrange. I don't need the world, just you. Just one night will do. Just one night, let me feel you near. Just one moment, like you're still here. I don't need forever tonight. Just one night in your light. Just one night before we change, before the memories rearrange. I don't need the world, just you. Just one night will do.
Headlights caught through the midnight rain. Radio plays music of the golden days. Every mile I think of the past, chasing moments to never last. The city sleeps, but I still drive on this road in the never-ending night. It's a night never song is a sweet rewind, taking me back to a place in time. The city sleeps, but I still drive on this road in the never-ending night. It's a night never ends, driving fast around the bends, through the lights, through the glow, chasing times from long ago. Oh, a night that never ends. Oh, a night that never ends. Oh, a night that never ends. Oh, a night that It's a night never ends, driving fast around the bends, through the lights, through the glow, chasing times from long ago. Oh, a night that never ends. Oh, a night that never ends.
It feels like the air doesn't move. Time frozen, everything's a lose. The streets are empty, no place to go. The moonlight makes the earth below. The stars are above stand still. When the world stands still. When the world stands still. that I can't let go. I gotta have faith. Fading lights in my mind. I'm running from the love I can't find. Chasing reaction, I can't let go. No. Fading lights in my mind. Can't
yesterday. Trumpet and chime faded away. Holding on to yesterday, a better life where I wanted to stay. Ooh, holding on to yesterday. Ooh, holding on to yesterday. Holding on to yesterday. Holding on to yesterday. Holding on to yesterday. shine down the avenue. I'm chasing shadows, thinking of you. Every minute feels like a song saying maybe this love could be mine. Late night moments in the pouring rain. Every time calling out your name, I can't escape it, don't wanna try. You've got me tangled in your
Midnight Mirage, and thank you for tuning in. We're live from Miami, and it's a good time to take a drive. Enjoy the music.
like something coming true. You don't have to promise more than what you feel right now. All I need is one more moment before the morning comes. If you feel it in the air, then you know it's more than chance. Stay for the night. Don't let this feeling fade. Stay for the night. We don't have to be afraid. If this moment's all we have, let's not let it pass us by. Stay for the night. Stay for the night. Stay for the night. Don't let this feeling fade. Stay for the night. We don't have to be afraid. If this moment's all we have, let's not let it pass us by. Stay for the night. Stay for the night.
Cruising by the ocean, we're chasing the light. City of angels, we're taking flight. Under the stars, I wrote this song. Summer in LA, where I belong. From the valley to Marina Bay, the city keeps shining no matter the day. It's always summer in LA, where the sun never sets and stars don't fade. It's always summer in LA, where the music plays and never goes away. It's always summer in LA. It's always summer in LA.
Private servers. Some of you out there might be wondering, what in the heck is a private server? Well, in the MMO world, it's usually a community-run instance of an existing or shut down MMO. And to that, you might be wondering, what's the point? Why run a private server? That's a good question, Billy, and here's 3 reasons that private servers exist. Number 1, the game is shut down and is no longer available. Therefore, a private server keeps it alive and accessible for the whole community. Number 2, the devs have abandoned the game. In this scenario, the community runs its own private server where they keep up to date with maintenance and bugs. And the third reason is to revert back to an older and better time. This is usually done for nostalgic reasons or to revert back to a time before the devs introduced a game-breaking bug. And they already know what your next question is going to be.
Was all this legal? Absolutely f***ing not.
Well, maybe. There's a lot of legal loopholes around abandonware and fair use, but there's also issues involving licensing and copyright. A lot of it comes down to who owns the IP and whether they care enough to actually try and shut down these private servers. But listen, I'm just here to tell you about some of the private servers you should check out, and I've kindly put them in a top 10 list. Unfortunately, I haven't played on every single private MMO server to ever exist, but I'll do my best to cover off ones I have tried and ones I've had really good feedback on. And whilst I have your attention, if you do like niche MMOs and video essays about games that are no longer relevant, then you might also enjoy my washed up YouTube channel, where I can't even hit 50k subs. I'm just so irrelevant right now. Please like and subscribe. So with the intro out of the way, let's begin with number 10 on our top 10 private MMO list. World of Warcraft is a game that is far from dead, but despite that, the devs on many occasions have upset the community.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either.
One eternity later.
And with a development team this competent and in touch with the community, it's no wonder people went out and made their own private servers. Two of the most notably popular ones are Project Ascension and Turtle WoW. Ascension is a classless game that allows you to imagine and build the character of your dreams. Your custom character has any ability or talent within their reach. Imagine your hero and achieve glory. So essentially a revamped classic WoW with no classes. Whereas Turtle WoW goes back to a simpler time, a better time some might say. To quote the site, this expansion aims to take a different path from the Burning Crusade, emphasizing the familiar Azeroth of Vanilla WoW over the cosmic battle with the Burning Legion. I have no idea what that means, hopefully it means something to you. But more importantly, Turtle WoW is aiming to be on a UE5 engine in the near future, which in itself would be a great achievement and certainly one that Blizzard might notice, so it's hard to say if it will be a good thing for the server or not. I just feel like there might be a lawsuit coming if they pull this off. Either way, if you are bored of WoW and you want to mix it up a little bit, I strongly suggest these two servers. Next on the list is Final Fantasy XI, which is so old that it was originally published by Squaresoft. Shout out to all my boomers who still say Squaresoft because you're too old to change. Final Fantasy XI has been rumoured to be in maintenance mode for the last couple of years now, and it is looking more and more official. It's so old that even if you install it on Steam back in 2011, it seems like my community keeps suggesting that I go play Lineage 2. And that's still possible.
Hello my friends, Boomy here once again with another video for you, my SWTOR brothers and sisters. How's everyone doing today in a galaxy far, far, far? I'm right. Once again. Proven correct. Yes, you'll see. Oh wait, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button for all your SWTOR fun news. I did that pause so you guys would say it. And more, right here, right now. Anyways, my friends, we do have some news, but let's start off with a couple videos ago. I did predict that on a Friday we would get the announcement of when the 7.8.1 live stream is going to be, right? It fit within the pattern, and we're all just like, you know, biting at the bit going, we need more story, because God knows we've been waiting for a year and a half for a lot of this stuff. Where is it? Broadsword, give it to daddy. And it didn't come. It wasn't there. I was wrong, and I will always admit when I'm wrong, and I will correct myself when I am wrong, unlike some other content creators out there. However, it does go to show that when I did another video about a certain CM that has just gone gangbusters, so welcome to a lot of you who are now new to the family. Get into the Discord right now. We're having fun there. It's in the links in the description below. And if you're part of the 55% who's watching this that isn't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's going to be fun, I promise you. In that video where I talked about, and I've talked about this in other videos, where our current community manager picks and chooses who she responds to, who she doesn't, and which platform they decide to put more information out on versus another platform which has a much wider audience, but because of ideology, they just can't do it for reasons. And that's alleged, it's my opinion, but also I follow patterns, and it's just a pattern that I've seen and has also repeated itself today. What am I talking about? Well, someone went out there, I myself as well, went out there and asked on X, Sotor and Jackie, and I said, here, well, read it yourself. It says, hey, Sotor and Jackie, or Kiki Fried Rice, do you guys know when the next live stream will be? Community is getting excited for what's next, hashtag Sotor. So I went on, and it turns out that there have been no replies to it whatsoever, even though Star Wars Central also reposted it as well, and not a movement on it, because I'm curious. I would like to know, because I do have a new prediction for this. So someone sent me in the Discord, this is why you need to be there where all the fun and jazz is, right? Someone sent me that they had also asked Jackie on Blue Sky pretty much the same thing, and she responded. So let me just show you this. So this is her thing on Blue Sky, and at the same time, my friends, listen. We go there so you don't have to. And you're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. But she says, after a solid Grawl asks, are we getting the stream announcement 7.8.1 this week? Smiley face. And he tags her in it. And then she responds with, soon. We're working on finalizing details before announcing the date. Hashtag Sotor. Friends, let's do the positive spin on this. We have news that soon it's going to come, because they're finalizing the details, although one could argue it's been so long, those details should have been finalized by now. But we're not there. We don't know 100% of everything that's going on, so yes, we do need to be patient, right? We don't see behind the curtain of everything, and that is fair. Here are my predictions before we get into the cons of everything right here. My predictions is thus. We'll either find out Wednesday, or probably by the time some of you are watching this, or we'll find out Friday of this week. And I say that because whenever someone in the community, either myself or someone within this current Booming Nation community, goes out there and asks them on a different platform and they respond, we will see the announcement within a couple of days. That's the pattern. It fits. And if they're watching this video, they're probably like, crap, we must change the pattern. Boomy is on to us once again. And that's pretty much what will happen. So we'll see what happens. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But here is the con to the whole thing, where this whole thing kerfuffle falls apart. And to like the two haters in the comment section of one of my last videos about this, the community manager and all this is just another pattern to where they pick and choose who they respond to and which platform they decide to use. So Teresa has done the same thing. She pulled a lot of her stuff from Twitter and primarily does stuff on Blue Sky, which, hey, party on if that's what you want to do. Great, you be you. But from a business standpoint, if you want to get yourself out to the widest audience you can, and Blue Sky is not one of those. The only reason people go over there is because of ideology. That is the only reason they go over there. That's it. Prove me wrong. But I've yet to be proven wrong on that one. And this is me not caring what you really believe. Just don't be preachy and try to shove it down my throat, because then I'll have a problem. But at the same time, This is not what a community manager does. A community manager, yes, should be on platforms that, people are on, whether it be Instagram. I mean, not Facebook. I mean, no one's really on Facebook except grandma. I mean, grandma and your aunt. But when it comes to gaming, Facebook is not the marketplace to go into. Facebook learned that the hard way when they try to do live streaming and stuff like that. It failed miserably. No one uses that platform. The primary platform people are using is X, or Twitter, formerly known as yada yada yada. That is the primary platform. But even if it is just Blue Sky, or if it's like Truth Social, or I know there's another one out there I can't think of. There's actually quite a few out there. But if your game or your business has a footprint, whether it be big or small, you should be out there as a community manager trying to reach all your audience, not just some, not just the ones that agree with you about this, that, or the other thing, but all of them. Magic fingers. That was my name in high school. Yes. But do you see what I'm saying? That an actual good community manager, like Eric Musco or whatnot, or the community manager for Lord of the Rings Online, or yes, even some of the community managers over there in World of Warcraft, they will go out of their way to try to reach the community as a whole. I don't know why I'm using my hands as much as I am. But this one is not. And this is just another sign, another pattern that is going on, that it's not professional. At the end of the day, I know people are like, oh my gosh, guys, you're talking about appearances. We're like, we're really not. We're actually kind of talking about the uniform of certain people on the internet who just, are the Karens of the internet and are allegedly, in my opinion, destroying the gaming industry in the West. But at the same time, you can't argue against this. You just can't. At the end of the day, it's all about being professional. A professional community manager would have a stiff upper lip and just communicate with everyone. But that is neither here nor there right now, my friends. I wanted to give you this information because we're all waiting for the next story content for this amazing game. The story content that should have come in 7.7, but didn't because, actor strikes and hashtag reasons. But 7.8.1 is where we're supposed to be getting this. And Keith talked about it in his newsletter. The devs talked about it. The writers have talked about it. So we're all waiting to see. And honestly, they literally cannot afford another delay in stuff. They just can't. So we're looking forward to it, and we just want to know when the hell it's going to be. But either way, my friends, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all this. Am I wrong? Am I just blowing it out of proportion? Or do you not see the pattern as well? I don't know. Maybe I should just start wearing a tinfoil hat. Who knows? You let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like button, the share button, and that bell notification button, my friends. And hey, if you're on mobile, hit that hype button. It really does help the channel out quite a bit, because people hyped the crap out of my last two videos, and they're both doing pretty good in their respective genres. So thank you guys so much for that. Make sure you do that. And yeah. Hey, you want to get more stuff? Do you want to get behind the scenes stuff? Do you want to see bloopers and my outtakes? I don't have a lot, but when I do, you get to see them. Do you want to get a monthly podcast, for which I really need to do for you guys? Become a member to the channel. It really does keep the lights on. And of course, my friends, make sure you hit that subscribe button, become part of the family here at Boomin Nation, the Freak Show YouTube, the black sheep of gaming. And as always, my friends, remember to be kind. It's about community, and don't forget to spay and neuter your Wookiees. We'll see you later, my friends. Good day.
Welcome back to Void of Fears. Before we jump into today's story, I've got to ask for a quick favour. If you could smash that like button, drop a comment below, and hit subscribe if you haven't already. It seriously makes a huge difference. YouTube's algorithm loves that stuff, and it pushes my videos to new viewers who might dig these stories too. I really appreciate every single one of you who takes the time to do that. It means the world to me, and helps keep this channel growing. Alright, enough of me rambling. Let's dive into today's story. The coffee had gone cold 3 hours ago, but Dr. Thomas Whitmore hadn't noticed. At 42 years old, he'd spent enough nights at the Deep Space Observation Center in New Mexico to know that most shifts were unremarkable. The James Webb Space Telescope fed him endless streams of stellar data, cosmic background radiation, the usual symphony of light from distant stars. He'd learned to find peace in the routine, in the soft glow of his monitors, and the gentle hum of the facility's climate control system. It was Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. The time read 11:47 in the evening. Thomas had his classical music playing low, Debussy's Clair de Lune, when something caught his eye. A spectral analysis from a star system designated K2877, approximately 640 million light-years away in the Sculptor Galaxy region. The light signature was behaving strangely, modulating in a way that natural stellar phenomena simply didn't. He sat forward, set down his mug, and pulled up the full readout. The modulation was deliberate, repeating, every 19.7 hours, the exact same fluctuation in the light spectrum. Thomas felt his heart rate quicken. In 20 years of astronomical observation, he'd never seen anything like this. He reached for his phone and called Dr. Elena Vasquez, his colleague, and one of the few people he trusted with something this significant. "Elena, I need you to come in, now." "Thomas, it's almost midnight. What?" "I think I found something artificial." Silence on the other end. Then, "I'll be there in 40 minutes. She made it in 35. Elena Vasquez was a brilliant astrophysicist, 10 years younger than Thomas, with a sharp mind and a healthy skepticism that had saved them from false positives more than once. She stood beside him now, staring at the same readout he'd been analyzing, her dark eyes moving rapidly across the screen. "Run the diagnostics again," she said quietly. He did. Same results. "It's artificial," she whispered. "My God, Thomas, it's actually artificial." They spent the next 72 hours barely sleeping, barely eating, running every test they could think of. The signal wasn't just a simple pulse. It contained layers of information, dense and complex, woven into the light itself, visual components, audio components, and something else, something they couldn't yet identify, but could measure its presence like a shadow cast by invisible light. By Saturday morning, they decoded the first visual portion. The image that materialized on Thomas's screen made him forget to breathe. It was a city, but not like any city humanity had ever conceived. Towers stretched upward for what must have been miles, their surfaces smooth as glass, but reflecting no light. They were wider at their peaks than at their bases, connected by bridges that curved in ways that seemed to ignore the basic laws of physics. The architecture followed principles of engineering that existed outside human understanding, as if the builders had known secrets about space and structure that made gravity irrelevant. And moving through those streets, barely visible in the grainy, ancient transmission, were beings. They walked on two legs like humans, but that's where the similarity ended. Their limbs were elongated, joints appearing where joints shouldn't exist, allowing movement that was simultaneously graceful and disturbing. Their bodies were tall and angular, and their faces, Thomas realized with a cold sensation in his stomach, had features he couldn't quite focus on. Not because the image was unclear, but because his brain seemed unable to process what it was seeing. Eyes in configurations that defied bilateral symmetry. Structures that might have been mouths or sensory organs, arranged in patterns that made his vision blur when he tried to examine them directly. "When was this light emitted?" Elena asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Thomas checked the calculations twice. 640 million years ago. When this light left their world, Earth only had primitive multicellular life. Just slime and ocean. Eleanor pulled up a chair, sat down heavily, They were building empires when our world was still learning what it meant to be alive. Word spread quickly within the astronomical community, at least the classified portions of it. Within a week, the project had expanded. 5 more scientists joined them, each signing non-disclosure agreements that could land them in federal prison if violated. The project received a code name, Ancient Echo. Dr. Vincent Hayes arrived as their psychological consultant. At 56, he'd worked with deep space observation teams for years, helping researchers cope with the existential weight of their discoveries. He seemed unfazed by the initial findings, taking notes in a leather-bound journal and asking pointed questions about the team's sleep schedules and stress levels. Eleanor took the lead on linguistic analysis. The signal contained what appeared to be a primer, basic concepts that built upon themselves, teaching the receiver how to understand more complex information. It started with simple counting, moved to basic chemistry, then to astronomical concepts the receiver would recognize. From there, it blossomed into something far more sophisticated. "It's brilliant," Elena said during one of their team meetings. "Whoever designed this assumed nothing about who would receive it. They started from absolute zero and built a bridge of understanding." After 2 weeks, they broke through to the actual content. The civilization called themselves the Eternal Architects. Their history unfolded before the team like a book written in light, 800 million years old by the time it reached Earth's timeline. They'd achieved interstellar travel when Earth was still a ball of molten rock. They'd spread across 200 worlds, built a population of 90 billion souls. They'd mapped 40,000 star systems, created artificial worlds, moved planets through space like chess pieces, harnessed the energy of stars themselves. Their greatest achievement was something they called the Threshold, a megastructure that created doorways between distant points in space. The decoded images showed it a ring of impossible scale, orbiting a star, its surface covered in structures that hurt in to contemplate. Through it, the architects could step from one side of their empire to the other in moments. Thomas spent 16-hour days in the lab, surviving on coffee and determination. His wife Jennifer called regularly, her concern growing with each conversation. "Tommy, you need to come home. You need to sleep. In a real bed." "I can't, Jen. Not yet. You don't understand what we're looking at here." "Then help me understand. Come home for dinner. Tell me about it." But he couldn't. The non-disclosure agreement was ironclad. And even if it wasn't, how could he explain that they were reading the diary of gods who had died before Earth's first vertebrate had crawled onto land? The breakthrough that changed everything came on a Friday at 2:34 in the morning. Thomas had been working alone, the rest of the team having finally succumbed to exhaustion. He decoded a series of personal logs from what appeared to be a high-ranking architect, a being whose name translated roughly to Keeper of Distant Gates. The early logs were optimistic, almost joyful. The Keeper described a momentous discovery made 643 million years ago, their time. An exploration team had found ruins on a dead world, orbiting a black hole. Not recent ruins, not even ancient by the architect's standards. These structures predated the architects by billions of years. Thomas leaned closer to his screen as he read. The ruins were unlike anything in the architect's extensive database of civilizations. The beings who built them had understood the universe in ways that made even the architect's achievements look primitive. Their structures existed in a state that seemed to violate causality itself, present in multiple time frames simultaneously. Their technology operated on principles the architects couldn't begin to fathom. They brought artifacts back. Small objects, careful samples, things they hoped to study and understand. The artifacts were beautiful, the Keeper wrote. They sang in frequencies that touched something deep in the architect's psyche, promising understanding, offering knowledge, whispering secrets about the fundamental nature of existence. Then the tone of the logs changed. 3 months after the artifacts arrived at the primary research facility, people began reporting strange experiences, dreams of vast, empty spaces that felt more real than waking life. A sense of being watched by something that existed in dimensions they couldn't perceive. Scientists who'd worked directly with the artifacts started speaking in languages no one recognized, drawing symbols that seemed to move when no one was looking directly at them. The Keeper's handwriting, or whatever passed for handwriting, in the architect's written language, became increasingly erratic. Reports flooded in from across the Empire. Entire research facilities went silent. Cities that had thrived for millennia stopped responding to communication. Survey ships sent to investigate found worlds still functioning, still populated, but fundamentally changed. The inhabitants moved in strange synchronization. They built new structures according to no recognizable plan. They sang in harmonies that drove listeners mad. Thomas felt a chill run down his spine as he decoded the next image, one of the architect worlds photographed from orbit. The entire night side of the planet was visible, and it should have been blazing with city lights, a jewel of civilization visible from space. Instead, it was almost entirely dark. But there were lights, thousands upon thousands of them, moving across the surface in perfect synchronization, tracing spiral patterns that seemed to draw the eye inward, deeper and deeper, until Thomas had to physically look away from the screen. The Keeper's final entries were brief and desperate. We thought we were ready. We thought our knowledge, our science, our 800 million years of civilization made us safe. We were wrong. The artifacts were not treasures to be studied. They were bait. They were hooks. And we bit down willingly, eagerly, thinking we were the fishermen, when all along we were the catch. Do not follow our path. Do not look for what came before. Some doors should never be opened. There are older things in the universe than starlight. They were old when the first galaxies formed. They do not think as we think. They do not want as we want. They simply are, and their existence is incompatible with ours. We reached for their knowledge, and it reached back. Now we are changing. Now we are becoming something else. Something that serves purposes we can't comprehend. If you receive this, know that we chose to send it in our final days. Not as a greeting, as a warning. Turn back. Forget you ever heard us. Forget the deeper dark. Let the old things sleep. Let the ancient places remain undisturbed. We thought we could dance with the abyss and remain unchanged. We were wrong. Thomas sat in the empty lab, the only sound his own breathing and the soft whir of computers. He read the message 5 more times, hoping each time that he'd somehow misunderstood. But the translation was clear, the meaning unambiguous. This wasn't first contact. This was a death letter sent across 640 million years of space. When Elena arrived Monday morning, she found Thomas still at his desk, eyes bloodshot, hands trembling slightly as he showed her what he'd found. She read in silence, her face growing paler with each line. "What destroyed them?" she asked when she finished. "I don't think destroyed is the right word," Thomas said quietly. "The Keeper said they were changing, becoming something else, something that served purposes they couldn't understand." "The artifacts," Elena whispered. "It was the artifacts." The artifacts were from something older, something that exists in a way we don't have words for. The architects touched that knowledge and it infected them, changed them, turned them into something that wasn't the architects anymore. Dr. Vincent Hayes joined them an hour later. He read the decoded messages twice, his usual professional composure cracking. "We need to limit exposure to this material," he said finally. "I'm seeing concerning signs across the team. Dr. Patterson requested medical leave this morning. Said he's been having intrusive thoughts, nightmares where he's falling through spaces that don't exist in 3 dimensions. Dr. Joe reported similar symptoms. Said she keeps seeing symbols in her peripheral vision, and when she turns to look at them directly, they're never there. Thomas rubbed his eyes. They felt gritty, painful. We can't stop now, we need to finish decoding the message. Why? Vincent's voice was sharp, urgent. They're gone, Thomas. Dead for longer than complex life has existed on Earth. What does it matter now what destroyed them? Because they sent this for a reason. They used their last days, maybe their last hours of sanity, to craft this transmission and shoot it out into the universe. The least we can do is listen to the whole thing. But over the next week, Thomas began to understand Vincent's concern. He wasn't sleeping well. When he did manage to drift off, he dreamed of falling through vast empty spaces, of being surrounded by a darkness that was somehow alive and aware, that watched him with attention that felt crushing in its intensity. He'd wake in his office not remembering having fallen asleep, his computer screen showing static or sometimes images he didn't remember pulling up. Images of spirals, images of structures that seemed to exist in more than 3 dimensions, images that made his head ache and his stomach turn. Security footage from 3 a.m. showed him alone in the lab, staring at a blank monitor, his lips moving. The audio captured him whispering something over and over, but the words weren't in any language the security team recognized. Elena reported similar experiences. Dreams of drowning in stars, of seeing patterns in the cosmos that revealed terrible truths she couldn't remember upon waking. She started avoiding the main lab, working from her smaller office down the hall, limiting her direct exposure to the decoded signals. Her hands shook when she held her coffee cup. Her eyes had dark circles that makeup couldn't hide. But they continued. They had to. Wednesday evening, 9:15. The team gathered for what they hoped would be the final decoding session. The last segment of the transmission was dense, layered with information compressed to an almost impossible degree. It took hours to properly translate, and as the image resolved on the screen, Thomas felt the room temperature seemed to drop. It was a map, 847 points of light scattered across a section of the galaxy. Each point marked a world where the architects had established their civilization. Colonies, research stations, thriving planets with billions of inhabitants. Every single one was now silent, dead, dark for 640 million years. But there was more. Lines connecting the points, showing the progression. Whatever had destroyed the architects, or changed them, or infected them, hadn't struck randomly. It had moved systematically, world to world, following a specific trajectory through space. And the progression wasn't random, it was deliberate, purposeful, like something was following a path, travelling from star to star with terrible patience. Elena's hands flew across her keyboard, running calculations accounting for 640 million years of galactic rotation, stellar drift, the movement of spiral arms through space, the dance of stars around the galactic core. Her face went white. "Thomas," she said, her voice barely audible, "the trajectory. If you follow the pattern forward, accounting for all the movement, the time elapsed." She turned her screen toward him. The pattern pointed toward their region of space. The entity, the force, the infection, whatever it was, that had consumed the architects and turned their empire into a synchronized nightmare, had been traveling for 640 million years. And according to the calculations, accounting for the speed suggested by the timeline of the architect's fall, it was somewhere between 50 and 100 light years from Earth, right now, at this very moment. The room was silent except for the hum of electronics. "Maybe the calculation is wrong," Dr. Patterson said, his voice cracking. "Maybe we're misunderstanding the progression. Maybe it didn't continue travelling after the architects fell." But they all knew that was hope speaking, not reason. The emergency meeting happened 3 days later in a secure facility in Virginia. Government officials, military advisors, representatives from NASA, and the Department of Defense. They sat around a long table, reviewing everything Ancient Echo had discovered, their faces grave in the fluorescent light. The debate was heated. Thomas argued for disclosure. The public has a right to know. If there's something out there, if we're potentially in danger, people deserve to know the truth. They deserve time to prepare. A general whose nameplate read Hutchinson shook his head. And tell them what, Doctor? That an alien civilization died 600 million years ago, and something might be heading our way? You'd cause global panic, economic collapse, mass hysteria. And for what? A threat you can't even properly identify or prove is coming here. Maybe the architects sent this as their final act, Elena said quietly. Maybe we're supposed to run, evacuate the planet if we can, spread humanity out across other star systems, so we're not all in one place when it arrives. Run where? Thomas turned to her. You've seen the map. The architects were spread across 200 worlds. They had interstellar travel, technology we can barely dream of, and it found them all. There's nowhere in the galaxy that's safe if this thing is what we think it is.
EXE, yeah, 100%.
Dr. Vincent Hayes spoke up from the back of the room. There's another possibility we need to consider. The psychological effects we've been experiencing, the team's deteriorating mental state. What if the transmission itself is dangerous? What if exposure to their knowledge, their history, the very act of understanding what happened to them, is the actual threat? You're saying the message is infected? Elena asked. I'm saying we don't understand what we're dealing with. The architects found ruins from something incomprehensibly ancient. They studied those ruins and their civilization collapsed. We've been studying the architect's message and we're showing signs of mental deterioration. Dr. Patterson is having dissociative episodes. Dr. Joe hasn't spoken a coherent sentence in 3 days. Thomas was found at 4 a.m. drawing symbols on his office wall with a marker he doesn't remember picking up. Maybe there are some things we're not meant to understand. Maybe comprehension itself is the contagion. The room fell into an uncomfortable silence. Thomas thought about the symbols he'd drawn, the ones he'd washed off the wall before anyone else arrived, the ones that had looked almost alive in the dim light of his office. He thought about the dreams, about the sensation of something vast and ancient, turning its attention toward him like a searchlight sweeping across the darkness. So what do you propose? He asked quietly. Vincent met his eyes. We stop. We seal everything we found. We limit who has access to the information. We observe, but we don't study. We record, but we don't try to understand. You're talking about willful ignorance. I'm talking about survival. The decision came down from levels above Thomas's clearance, from offices he'd never see, and people whose names he'd never know. Ancient Echo was to be classified at the highest level. All findings sealed in vaults that required 3 separate authorizations to open. The team disbanded, effective immediately. They were to sign additional agreements, undergo psychological evaluation, and never speak of the project again, under penalty of treason. Thomas returned to New Mexico to collect his personal belongings. The lab had already been stripped, all the equipment removed, all the drives wiped or destroyed. It was like Ancient Echo had never existed. But Thomas knew better. He'd made copies, not of everything, not of the dangerous segments that might carry whatever infection Vincent feared, but of the images, the history, the final plea from the Keeper. He printed them on paper, old-fashioned physical documents that couldn't be remotely deleted. He'd hidden them in places the government wouldn't think to look. If humanity was going to ignore this, someone needed to remember it had been given. 6 months passed like a fever dream. Thomas sat in his home office in April 2025, preparing for an interview he'd agreed to give on the condition of absolute anonymity. His face would be obscured, his voice digitally altered, his location kept secret. the journalist, a woman named Rebecca Cross, who specialised in fringe science and government cover-ups, had found him through back channels he still didn't fully understand. But he needed to tell this story. He needed someone besides the government to know what they'd found out there in the dark. He'd left the Deep Space Observation Centre, couldn't continue after what they'd learned. Every time he looked at the stars now, he felt like he was staring into a vast cemetery, full of civilizations that had risen and fallen, and left nothing but messages carved in light. Elena had moved back to Argentina, to a small town in Patagonia, where the night sky was clear and she could see the Milky Way in all its glory. He'd tried calling her once, but she'd hung up as soon as she recognized his voice. He tried again a week later and got a disconnected number message. 2 of their team members had been institutionalized. Dr. Patterson claimed he could see spaces that didn't exist, gaps in reality that opened when he wasn't watching, doorways to places that had no business existing in a sane universe. He tried to walk through one during a supervised therapy session and had to be physically restrained. Dr. Joe had stopped speaking entirely, would only draw the same spiraling symbol over and over on any surface she could reach, sometimes for hours at a time, her hand moving with mechanical precision. Dr. Vincent Hayes, he'd committed suicide in January. He'd driven out to a remote section of the New Mexico desert, taken enough pills to fell a horse, and lay down on the hood of his car to watch the stars. His note was brief, written in a shaky hand. I've been seeing the spaces between. They're not empty. They've never been empty. There are things living in the gaps, in the places where reality gets thin. I can't unsee it now. I can't unknow it. The architects were right. Some knowledge destroys the knower. I'd rather die as a human than live as whatever I'm becoming. Thomas showed Rebecca the printed images from the transmission, the only physical evidence he'd managed to keep. The towering cities of the architects, their impossible geometry, now seeming almost beautiful in its alienness. The dead world with its synchronized lights tracing patterns that still made his eyes water. The map showing the trajectory of something older and darker than anyone wanted to contemplate. They want us to forget, he said to the camera he couldn't see, to the audience that would never know his face. The government, the military, everyone with clearance to know what we found. They want it buried. Maybe that's the right choice. Maybe knowledge itself is the contagion the architects warned about. Maybe some truths are too dangerous to know, too corrosive to comprehend. But then he leaned forward, his obscured face closer to the microphone. 3 weeks ago, I got a message from a contact I still have at the observatory. They told me the James Webb detected another signal. Different location, different star system, 920 million light years away. Different civilization, different language, different history, but the same desperate plea at the end, the same map, the same trajectory. His voice dropped to barely above a whisper. It's found others before us. Hundreds of civilizations, maybe thousands, spread across billions of years. We're not the first to receive these transmissions. The architects weren't the first to look too deep and see too much. There's a pattern to it, a cycle that repeats across cosmic time. Civilizations rise, they advance. They reach a certain threshold of knowledge and technology. They start asking questions about the fundamental nature of reality, and then something notices them, something that's been waiting in the spaces between stars since before the first galaxies formed. And every single civilization that caught its attention, that looked into the deeper dark and tried to understand what they saw there, ceased to exist. Not destroyed, changed, transformed into something that serves purposes we can't begin to understand. So why are you telling me this? Rebecca asked, her voice steady, despite the content. If it's as dangerous as you say, if knowledge itself is the threat, why spread this information? Thomas was quiet for a long moment, considering his answer carefully. Because we're not going to heed this. I know humanity. I know how we work. We've never been good at learning from others' mistakes. We'll keep searching, keep probing deeper, keep asking questions that should never be asked. It's in our nature. We can't help ourselves. We see a mystery, and we have to solve it. We see a locked door, and we have to know what's behind it. The architects were like that. Every civilization that sent these messages was like that. They all thought they could dance with the abyss and remain unchanged. They were all wrong. He pulled out another document, one he'd been saving for the end of the interview. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. That third signal, the one detected 3 weeks ago. I got more information about it yesterday. It was sent just 20 years ago. 20 years, not millions or billions. Which means that civilization was still thriving in 2005. They were out there presumably advanced, presumably wise enough to know about these transmissions because they sent one of their own. And they're already silent, already gone. 20 years from sending their message to complete collapse. Whatever